And the most friendly banker around in the past is Janet Yellen. And the news is that she's going to be the new Treasury Secretary for the Biden administration,
Mm-hmm.
which we got to talk about there too, because I got some angry emails about the whole
You
presidential
always get
thing,
those angry
and it's still
emails.
not over yet. So we're going to have some fun with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Janet Yellen, former Fed chair, if she takes over for Steve Mnuchin, who's currently the Treasury Secretary, to view that any other way than pedal to the metal, free money everywhere, liquidity, um, I think that's a huge mistake to view that any other place because she's going to be market friendly. Even Elizabeth Warren, who is very anti big banks, anti capitalist for most senses, tweeted out how couldn't have a better pick than Janet Yellen because she stuck it to and held, I'm paraphrasing here, Wells Fargo accountable for, remember the whole cross selling and every once in a while they bring bankers in front of, well, now they do it through Zoom, but some committee will come in and rail against them and tell them how bad they are. But I had to laugh out loud about that because you're getting a very far left person excited about Yellen for being tough on the banks. Frank, who's gone to jail or lost a major job other than low-level bankers in the last 10
Hardly anybody
years?
during the credit crisis,
Exactly.
yeah. And it was all their
So
fault.
that's a
They
lot of
took on,
fun.
yeah, yeah. So
The other thing, let's get right on to. I got to cover some tracks here with the presidential thing because I didn't get back to a couple of the emails. I
I love when you
apologize.
talk about this because
I'll
you get
get
so
I'll
many
get better
emails.
at that, or maybe not. But the headlines about the market rallying off of a peaceful transition of power is awesome. So Trump tweets out to the GSA about, hey, let's start the administration to transition, and I guess they're letting Biden people in now, which they weren't. Which, by the way, anybody that was worried about that is silly. If you're because a lot of the argument was, hey, if Biden doesn't know what's going on around the world, we're going to be unsafe. Do you think that there's a chance in hell some world leader would attack Trump if his last days are at bay? No. Because if you're out the door, what are you going to do? You're going to fire everything at him and then walk out and leave it to somebody else. And if you don't think Trump would do that, again, I just agree to disagree. So the whole transition of power thing was funny. There's more lawsuits being filed in Pennsylvania. I will say the odds are totally against him, but I can't give up yet because I'm on a limb. I called the landslide, and there's only like a couple people still with me, and one of them's Sidney Powell, and hell, she's not even part of the team anymore. So, but for entertainment, when you need a break with the family, go to Twitter, get your fill, look at the both fringe sides, and then go back to the dinner table and wait till next year. So. But it'll be interesting to see all the lawsuits. Supposedly, there's another one being filed today, but yeah, the odds are stacked against him. But it'll be entertaining. So
it will be entertaining. I mean, I think there is, consensus out there is, hey, Biden won. It is Trump. When is Trump going to concede? But if there is a smoking gun,
well, check his Twitter because he still concedes nothing.
Yeah, he still concedes nothing, which is great. But it is kind of amazing. But I want to go back to Janet Yellen, who I had no problem with. I think she's good. I think she's more concerned with unemployment than inflation, which means that she doesn't care if inflation rises, which she's going to keep interest rates low, right? So she's dovish. I think everybody agrees with that. She's going to push for more stimulus when things are bad, right? She's also favorable for that. I don't know if that makes her any different from the last couple, but I want to go back in history really quick, because she's going to have a lot of influence in the shape of the new stimulus bill. And here's why these stimulus bills are extremely dangerous. And just to put it simply, it's because our politicians are greedy assholes. Okay, that's what it is. It's not just, hey, we need this, right? We all need the stimulus. What you think, what I think, right? And people out there with their business, we're looking at this going, struggling business. How come you can't pass this? It seems like you both agree. There's a reason why you can't pass this, and it has nothing to do with saving the economy. It has to do with putting all the garbage and the crap in there that's going to help them. Now, to go back to 2008 with TARP, right? October passed. It was $700 billion. I think they dialed it down to about $480 billion. But the $700 billion package, it was a bill of 451 pages. Again, the world was going to end. We need to do this right away, right? No, there's no thinking. I understand, right? The financial system, I get it, right? So this is this money supposed to save the financial system, including investing in banks, AIG, Fannie.
You better not name anything that's pork related
all
in
this
there.
Stuff. And here we go. Now, here's the fun thing that's thrown into this, okay? And this is just for a $700 billion bill. There's a $3 billion number now being thrown on the table.
Trillion.
For the stimulus, right? Now it's $3 billion. It was 1.5, 1.8, 2.2, 2.5. Now it keeps getting higher. Why not make it $4 trillion? What's the big deal? It's only another trillion. But when we look at that bill and the pork that was in there, $2 million in tax benefits was shoved into TARP to benefit the makers of wooden arrows for kids. $192 million in rebates for Puerto Rican rum. $148 million tax relief for U.S. wool fabric producers. $49 million tax. I love this one. Tax benefit for fishermen who were plaintiffs who sued over the 1989 Exxon Valdez spill. Here's $49 million for you guys. Hundreds of millions of tax breaks for renewable energy projects. Again, this wasn't the time for that. This wasn't the time. This is for TARP to save the world, right? A $48 million, this is great, Hollywood threw themselves in there, $48 million tax incentive each year for film and TV producers who produce their work in the United States. Okay, that's pretty cool. And the best part, $100 million in savings for racetrack owners, horse racing, who can depreciate their facilities for over 7 years. So, guys, if you really think that
that's just par of the course, though. That's normal. But that's what we need to get over. You got to quit being par for the course.
That's why this is so tough. So they're looking to bail out all the states, right? All these states that are closed, that are closing when you see statistics, everything out there, I cite them. You don't really need to close right now, right? Death rates and hospitalization rates are lower. Very, 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 very few kids die from COVID or under 18. I don't know why you're closing schools. But again, this is, and they're going to bail out the states and throw all this crap in there. This is our politicians at work. I mean, I know a lot of you voted for Biden mostly because you hate Trump, because you look at Biden's track record in 40 years, he hasn't done nothing. I mean, there's nothing that you can name that he's done. I mean, that's why he got destroyed on the Democratic stage, right? I mean, he got destroyed on the Democratic stage during the debates, right? And you're looking at the playbook of a politician is this simple. And I need you guys to understand it because you have to separate this when it comes to why we should get a stimulus and why things should happen and why you just have to accept them and invest accordingly. Is because when you look at the playbook of a politician, Daniel, which I know you know this, is the first rule number one, scare the crap out of you. Country is terrible. Climate change is going to end the world. You're never going to be part of the rich elite. You're always going to be poor. You're going to die of COVID if you go outside, right? Not if you protest, but if you go outside for any other reason, you could die of COVID, right?
Yep.
Can't go to a place of worship either. Can't have Thanksgiving with more than 10 members of your family, but go outside and protest. That's fine, right? So they want to scare you. Then these politicians, their job is to tell you exactly how they're going to fix it. Here's how we're going to save you, right? Here's why we're fighting for you, right? That's why they want your vote. It's why you should vote for them. But as a politician, your job is to never solve any problem, right? You see that all across everything, on even both sides. Because if you solve the problem, the people don't need you anymore. And that's why you see places like Baltimore, Lansing, New Orleans, Oakland, Cleveland, Kansas City, Memphis, Detroit. I mean, have these areas gotten any better over the past 3 to 4 decades? I mean, they were promised to be fantastic for so many years and so many decades by every politician. Doesn't matter if you're voting Democrat and it's been that way, you're going to vote Democrat again. Doesn't matter, right? It's just, people are struggling more than ever, and that's never going to change in these areas. But I think you have to realize that, and when you realize this, you got to be a much better investor. Politicians, they don't care about you. They don't care about me. They only care about power. They care about themselves. If they cared, they would have passed the stimulus bill 2-3 months ago when people are really, really struggling. Some businesses are good. We see the market all-time highs. Some businesses are thriving. There's tons of businesses that are being forced to be closed. This isn't, hey, I came up with a business idea, it didn't work. Right? Yeah. This is, I built my whole entire life, 3 decades of this. I own a restaurant. I do decently for myself. Now I'm bankrupt and I can't do anything. And you're not helping these people. All you're doing is tell them, hey, there's a 99.5% survival rate from COVID, but you need to close your business right now. Right? It doesn't matter. Okay, but mass social distancing, I don't care. But you need to close your business. So when we're looking at the stimulus, guys, they want to add a whole bunch of crap to it. That's what they're fighting about behind the scenes. It's not about the actual stimulus, right? No, again, politicians don't give a shit about that. They're already wealthy. But we're talking 2 to 3 trillion, maybe closer to 3 trillion. It's easy to sneak hundreds of millions in there, right? 100 million here, 100 million there. Tax incentives for an industry you're going to significantly benefit from later on in life. And I didn't want to go on a rant here with politics, which you
failed miserably at that, but it was a good one.
But when I look at, listen, when we look at the Republicans and how Sarah Palin, who maybe knew how to count to 25, and how they were like, well, don't teach her anything, just have her memorize everything, right? That's how bad it was. That's how, McCain, how bad they wanted to win. To the Democratic Party today, which, are you really proud if you're a Democrat? Because they defunded the police, right? Look at what's happening in New York City. Look what's happening all over with defunding the police. They supported Antifa. They didn't say anything bad about them, right? This is people that, have killed people, punch people in the face when they're not looking. They bully people, old people. They just go to people at dinners. They sit there, they drink, whatever. They're getting funded by so many billionaires. They're getting prisoners to get out of jail so they could vote, right? This is how they're winning, right? So this is some of the things that they did here. I mean, so when you look at our politicians on both sides, guys, you have to realize they don't care about you. What we want to know is when that stimulus is going to come. I don't care what side you're on. I don't care if you want to email me or Daniel. Have fun, whatever. Everyone has their own opinions. For me, it's about making money. And when I see this and a stimulus, we are probably going to get closer to a $3 trillion stimulus. And if we really have 9 months from now, say like 7-8 months from now, mid 2021, where this vaccine is actually getting distributed and people are taking it and we're seeing these numbers come down, I mean, we're going to look at a market that's probably going to rocket higher. And that's what's anticipated right now, right? I think, I mean, if you're looking at the driving forces.
And the odd thing is that, like you said, I mean, what's going to hurt Main Street in the current and longer term is going to be great for the markets in the short term. And I say short term, meaning, 6 months to maybe a year, because that's not going to stop all of a sudden. And low interest rates are great for corporations. They're great for markets, but they're terrible for Main Street unless you're available to get a loan. But like you said, when you're struggling to make ends meet in businesses, money's going to be harder to come by. Regulations are going to go higher through the banks. So it's a Gotham City investment plan, basically. But like you said, you gotta sit down in the arena, understand the arena you're in, what are the rules, and try to make investments from there.